Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of He Said, He Said, He Said, a look at the world from a seasoned Black man's perspective. I'm your host, Alvin King, and I want to first of all wish you all a happy new year. It is 2025, ladies and gentlemen, and it's Friday, January the 10th. And it's our first live show of the year. And we're very happy to be with you tonight. We're definitely looking forward to getting newsy with you. And we are even more excited about introducing you to our special guest correspondent. Sean Nelson is here tonight. So we cannot wait. I told you all, 2025 has a lot of surprises for you. Before we even jump into the show, I want to go ahead and talk about the recent wildfires in Southern California that have wrought unprecedented devastation, leaving indelible scars on both the landscape and its inhabitants. Since their onset earlier this week, these fires have claimed at least 10 lives and obliterated over 10,000 homes and structures, displacing thousands of residents and disrupting entire communities. The economic ramifications are staggering, with early estimates indicating total damages and losses ranging between $135 billion to $150 billion. The fires have ravaged vast expanses, with Palisades fires consuming over 20,000 acres and the Eaton fire burning nearly 14,000 acres. The human toll is profound as families return to their homes, ladies and gentlemen, reduced to ashes, grappling with the emotional and financial challenges of rebuilding their lives. And in response to the crisis, President Biden has approved federal aid and resources, underscoring the government's commitment to recovery efforts. The path to recovery will be long and arduous as communities come together to rebuild amidst the ashes of what once was. My heart goes out to everybody in Southern California. I don't know anyone personally that live in the area, but I know people who know people. And so my heart goes out to them. I can't even imagine that type of devastation. Well, in a couple of weeks, it will be Martin Luther King Jr. Day. That will be Monday, January the 20th. And for me, it's going to be a different Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And, there's another event happening on that day. And I just, you get to a point in your life where you just don't want to see two things come together. And this is one of them. So I'm curious as to how you all are going to spend, the Martin Luther King Jr. Day holiday. I'm curious to hear that. So if you guys, please put something in the chat. I might hang out with y'all if y'all want me to. Okay. But it is going to be very different for me. This past Monday, DC had their biggest winter storm in several years and left a blanketed snow across the nation's capital, creating hazard road conditions and major school closings. There was about 6 to 10 inches that fell on Tuesday morning in some areas, and it even caused the federal government to close. And it was just been a crazy week with that. But before I get to bringing on, the other very special guest, there was some total cuteness that happened this week that I got to share with you all because of the snow. As you know, the pandas arrived on October 15th to the National Zoo after taking a long journey from China. And Bao Li and Qin Bao, they will make their public debut on January the 24th. And they just look so darn cute running around in all that snow this week. I mean, this was like the cute moment for me. As you could imagine, I love me some pandas. And for those of you who are, members of the National Zoo, you can go there all week, and because I'm one of them, you can go in and they will give you a special tour live of the pandas, and you can see them doing their thing. It is just so cute. But I thought that was my cute moment, watching them, somersault and frolic all in about 5 inches of snow. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our live Let's Get Newsy show tonight. And I don't do what I do, as I said, without this gentleman. So please welcome to the chat, my boy Bobby. Hey, man.
Hey, man. How are you?
Fine. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too.
Thank you. Happy New
Here
Year,
we are.
Monica. Happy New Year, Michelle.
Happy New Year, everybody. We're back.
We are back. We are back. How are you doing, Bobby?
I am doing well. I survived the DC snowstorm. Got a couple of extra days of vacation off because, of course, I'm an educator, as many of you know, and so I was off for a little bit. And so got a couple of extra days. I did have to go out and shovel, though. That wasn't fun.
Well, I did. I posted about it, and I was not a happy camper about it. Oh, and who is this? Raw Health said he'll be in the Caribbean on January
Ah,
the 20th. Okay, I wish I was with you, and you'll be coming. Okay, I
because
wish
notice
I
he
was.
didn't invite us. He's just telling us he's going to be there.
You will be there. Well, lucky you. Hello, Dwayne Pureheart. Good evening, my big brother.
Hey,
And
Dwayne.
yeah, I mean, 2025 came in, Bobby. I was sick the right after Christmas, and so 2025 had some unpredictable moments for me.
Mhm.
That's all I'm going to say. But
Mhm.
all in all, I'm here today just to tell you that it is the small things that matter
Absolutely.
most. It is the small things that matter. So, here we are, 2025. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
noticing a small thing. We didn't even talk about this before we even came on the air.
What's
We both
that?
have on gray turtlenecks today, Alvin.
We do.
Like, I'm like, people will think that we planned this, but I swear to you all, we did
No,
not.
no, we did not plan it. How you doing, Kendall? Thank you for joining the show tonight. No, we did not plan it. But Bobby, this has been a very emotional week, I'm gonna say, because
Yeah.
we laid to rest the 39th president, Jimmy Carter,
Mhm.
this week. And it was just for me, I don't know. I didn't know. I knew about Jimmy Carter because I donate to Habitat.
Mhm. For
I
humanity, yeah,
donate
yeah,
humanity. So, but I knew of him as a president as well. But I
yeah.
didn't know a lot of things that I learned about him over the last few days since his death. So,
It was quite the ceremony and
mhm,
an extraordinary opportunity to salute a life of example. That
mhm,
he
mhm,
wasn't just a president who served and then just went off into obscurity. Like he continued to contribute. He taught Sunday school classes at church. He was a very devoted Christian.
mhm,
He believed in service and he lived a life of service. He was building houses, as you suggested, through Habitat for Humanity for
mhm.
many, many, many years. And so, and it was a rare opportunity to see all of these presidents, all five presidents that are alive were present, including the president elect, who was quite interesting.
Yeah, I gotta say to that, Bobby. I don't know. I've been seeing some of the clips that have surfaced after people were panning the room and watching the the behavior of all the presidents and their wives and who
Yeah,
did this.
yeah.
There was some shade going on in there, and truth be told, there was a lot of shade going on between the Democrats.
Shade.
Shade. I mean, palm trees was coming out of the pews. I was like, am I seeing what I'm seeing? But it,
Yeah,
it was it was a lot of shade.
there was.
I was like,
There were
and
funny moments as well.
yeah, I thought, no, was that really what's her name? Trump's wife? Was that really her, or was that a wax figure? I wasn't sure.
Oh.
It didn't move.
In fact, there was one photo that was taken where everyone was sitting, kind of looking, and she was like you could just. I was like, oh
She
my god.
she did not move. I mean, Melania sat there, and I was like, I was like, if she had like fallen over or something, okay, I would have been okay with that. I would have been okay. But all in all, it was a beautiful service
Yes,
for
I agree.
Jimmy Carter, and I felt really sad. I felt like I lost a friend. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know him, but it was beautiful. It
It
was
was a
really
beautiful
beautiful.
ceremony,
Yeah, yeah. It
as
was
as as a presidential uh, honoring of life should be. It was tasteful. It was very personal. People that spoke knew him, even posthumously from the grave. There were two readings that were written by people who have actually transitioned on, but left them
left it
to be
in his.
read at his service. So
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Well, May you rest in peace, President Carter.
And thank you for your example.
Thank you. And a Raw Health said that Melania had Botox. Stop it.
Oh, wow.
But I believe you. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
Readings without words. All right. Well, also this week, now, you guys, Bobby and I could not let you all go without giving you our fashion recap.
That's right.
Of the Golden Globes.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to give you our hits and our misses. Our misses. So Bobby, you can go ahead. You can give both. You can go ahead.
Okay. All right. So here were my hits. I loved Viola Davis. I love this outfit. It's a beautiful black sequins dress. But what you might not be able to see is this very sheer cape that she is wearing is almost like a beautiful rainbow stripe to it. And I thought it was beautiful. It was mature. It was elegant. It was very complimentary of her body. I loved it. I said, go Viola Davis.
All right. Oh,
my next one. This is such an extraordinary and beautiful classic of elegant simplicity.
Sheath.
The draping of this dress.
Yeah.
This is Jason Bolden styling at his best. Simple, the very, very high full ponytail. You don't see a whole lot of jewelry. It is all about the elegance and the simplicity, the color and the drape of this dress that fit her to perfection.
Very Grecian. Very Grecian. All right. Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys know. You guys, if you know Alvin and you know me, Zendaya, we're not worthy. Jason Bolden, yet again. I mean, no, I'm sorry. La Roche is her stylist.
La Roche. Don't use La Roche.
The color, the fit,
get you. Mm-hmm.
The shoes, the color, the fit, the hair, the simplicity, and the makeup.
Pure glamour.
This is Hollywood glamour, red carpet, Zendaya. Now, I did have one honorable mention.
You did.
Alvin said 3.
I
was like, I just got to put in an honorable mention.
Yeah.
Gal Gadot, our former Wonder Woman, again.
Yeah.
This is a simple yet daring because of that cutout. But what you might see or might not be able to see, the cutout is gathered by a large single pearl. Just
perfection.
Glamorous. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So
perfection. And you can't see the back. The back dipped all the way down. In the words of Monique Greenwood, it exposed. It protected the property without exposing the view.
Oh, come on now. All right, Monique. We love that. So those were my hits. My misses. Okay. Comedian Ali Wong. Mm-hmm. This is not funny.
It's not funny.
I don't know. I mean, she's an extraordinary comedian.
It's not funny.
That's not funny.
It's not funny.
No. So
it's not
a good choice, Alan.
Not funny.
No. Next up, Jeremy. Where are you going? Jeremy Strong, actor. This is the Golden Globes, bro.
Bobby, I kind of like that though.
I saw that you like that, and I was what?
It was the bucket hat for me. I kind of went there. Okay, look, I kind of.
That's why this show is called what? He said it, and that's what I love is that we can be so in sync on some things, and just not, different. But that's what we love. We love. This did not work for me. It is.
I could see
it just didn't work for me. I didn't feel it was the appropriate outfit for the.
Okay.
Event, oh my God, Io Adibri, love her in The Bear. Don't know what. I don't know what she was thinking. It is because even if she was going to go for the suit look, then she needed a tailored suit. You know what I'm saying? She needed something that was going to this looks like she went into her father's closet, pulled out a suit, and just threw it on. We're going to say, do better, Io. You are a star of a major television show. Do better.
With her, I gave it, seen it. You've seen it before. Well, thank you, Bobby. Raw Health said you are channeling Elsa and Joan Rivers now with this commentary. Okay.
Not Elsa Clinch. Oh, somebody knows Elsa. Oh, come on, Raw Health. Okay. Now your turn.
Okay, for my fashion hits, I'm going to run through this. Eddie Redmayne in Valentino. I just loved everything about him. This is how, if you're going to come and you're going to make a statement, the suit up close just fit him perfectly. I loved it. Of course, my second choice was none other than Zendaya.
There we
Again, me and Bobby, we're on the same page with that. I just love her. And then my other top was Naomi Watts. This dress was just absolutely stunning to me. You know, I lived with a designer for 17 years. And so when you see,
bottom.
It was a sheerness that not every designer could make. And she did it. She stood out for me. It wasn't even a risk. Okay, for my misses, Ali Wong, of course. I got you. Rodney said looked like she was on fire, and it was just the absolute worst. And
Not funny.
These are going to shock you all.
Oh, I don't know what Carrie was thinking.
Kerry Washington, and my next one, Coleman Domingo. You all missed because I expect so much of you.
I think that's what it is.
Coleman Domingo gave me, I've seen it before. And I was just like, okay, I wasn't having it. So him and Kerry Washington was in my miss list. And my last two, I got to give this to, oh my God.
He's from Excess. Scott Evans.
Scott Evans. And can we go back? Scott Evans and The Rock. I just love The Rock styling was just, again, I've seen it before on him, but who wears it like this?
So these are hits. These are not misses because they came after your misses.
No, this is honorable mention. These are my honorable
mention hits. Okay.
Honorable mention. The pants leg on him was absolutely appropriate.
Okay.
You know, and I just loved how he carried that. And so I gave him my honorable mention, him and The Rock. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
I love it. Golden Globe.
Me and Bobby's Golden Globe picks for the week. All right, well, we promised you all because we got some news that we got to share with you all tonight.
Rodney was like, what was going on with Carrie? I'm like, I don't know, Rodney. I don't know.
Looking like pink toilet paper. All right.
Oh.
Right. Just not wrong. I don't care.
Wow.
I just think that it was all wrong.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a little bit about our special guest tonight. His name is Sean Nelson, and we are congratulating him because he is the new commissioner-elect here in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
He is an independent journalist and a family historian. He is the host of his own podcast, The Offshoot, and he's a veteran journalist who has engaged in community advocacy and grassroots policies for 30 years. Sean possesses an undergraduate degree in management from the University of South Carolina and a graduate degree in management from Catholic University of America. He is a D.C. government employee in the Office of the Chief Financial Officer. He worked in several companies in corporate America and served in various roles of leadership and management throughout his career. But tonight, he is joining the He Said panel as our guest correspondent. Please welcome our new panel member, Sean Nelson.
That was way too much.
Just enough for you. Okay, welcome.
I'm feeling the bald heads here. Again, I'm like, whoa, look at this.
I'm feeling the golden smile. Okay, come on now. How you doing tonight, Sean?
I am feeling very, very, very well. Thank you so much. How are you guys feeling? I can see how you're feeling, but how are you feeling?
I'm actually feeling good. It seems like we have a third person on the set. It just looks so good because this is the dream, the concept. So don't go nowhere. You're here. We welcome you with open arms. So
absolutely.
Thank you. Welcome to the show. Well, as we do with everybody, ladies and gentlemen, we throw people right into the fire. So
right in.
It is Sean's time. Okay.
There you go. Let's kick it off.
Let's kick it off.
Well, shall I start? You can start, or
you just go right ahead. It's you.
Okay. You got the top story. We put you in. Ladies and gentlemen, give Sean some applause, please. We see you all. Welcome him. Go ahead, Sean.
Well, I'm very excited about this story because it's all about supporting minorities and making sure that we do our part to support Black business owners, if you will. So We all know about DEI being under attack, but there are two large organizations that are actually defending their DEI programs. The first is Costco. So there have been some threats to boycott Costco, but the company is standing firm. They are adamant about defending their DEI programming and noting that they have seen great benefits in terms of their financial growth because of DEI. So it's not going anywhere. And Target is also defending its DEI programming. The company actually said that it is going to continue to invest up to $2 billion through the year 2025 into Black-owned businesses. So I think that's very, very significant. It says a whole lot about both organizations. Absolutely. And for Target, for those of us who are trying to leave Walmart or Amazon and not sure how to get our deliveries through other organizations, Target actually has a good program where you can sign up and you can get 2-day delivery through their program, the Circle program. There are different tiers, but look into getting your merchandise from Target or Costco, particularly Target, because Target will deliver in 2 days, but you do have to sign up for it. It's about $99 a year, but you can also pay on a monthly basis, about $10 monthly. So it's a subscription. So please, if you want to support organizations that are supporting Black businesses, I say support Costco and support Target.
Wow.
And ladies and gentlemen, let me for those of you who know anybody in Target or Costco senior management, we are not getting paid for that. And he just delivered that, okay? He just delivered that. He even told you where you need to go, okay? And you know, I love me some Costco. So, John, thank you for sharing that with us. Glenn says it looked like we know where to utilize our dollars. Come on now, that's right.
Exactly.
Send someone to Walmart to Costco and Target. Thank you for that.
Exactly.
But I got a question though. Why is this so problematic for real quick? Why is this so them holding on to exercising this DEI program? Why is it so problematic for the GOP? Why do they want to disband it? Is there a particular reason why they just want to go away, other than hate, or what is it?
I can tell you that, and we just got the answer yesterday. And the answer is we learned that the most educated demographic in this country is Black women, and so white men are not there. So they want to be the DEI individual, white men that is, because white women, they have the skill. I'm sorry, Black women have the skills. They have the education. Okay. Now we need more Black men to step up as well and get those degrees and get those trade skills, if you will. But we know that white men are not going to school the way they used to. So they want to protect themselves because we are coming up and we're taking over.
I also think that part of the response is due to the fact that whether it's Mark Zuckerberg with Meta and Facebook or some of these other organizations, they can see the writing on the wall of a change in terms of the winds of acceptance of many of the policies around DEI efforts. And they're seeing it as a money thing. I mean, the fact that some organizations like, say, for instance, Facebook or Meta, however you want to refer to it, is now saying that, you know what, now we're not going to have fact checkers. Like, why would you not have fact checkers?
We're going to talk about that.
Okay. Well, they're kissing the ring. They're kissing the ring. It's money.
Yeah. Okay, it's money.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Sean. I appreciate that, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if you know anybody at Costco or Target, please have them get in touch with. He said live, because we know how to get customers for you. All right.
We do. Now, speaking of money, if you're in New York City and you have $9, you know what I'm about to talk about. Congestion pricing has begun in New York City. Congestion pricing. So I wanted to because a lot of people aren't familiar with congestion pricing. We don't have it here in the DMV. So let me break it down for you. So congestion pricing is essentially a fee that is charged to drivers entering a heavily congested area. Obviously, New York City is an example of that. During peak hours, aiming to discourage unnecessary car use and encourage people to use public transit or travel during less busy times, ultimately reducing traffic jams and improving overall flow for everyone. It's like a surcharge for driving in a crowded space, with the money often used to fund public transportation initiatives. So again, how it works. Drivers enter this zone and they're charged a certain fee. In this case, $9 in New York City. It's almost like with the speed pass thing. You can actually have a mobile receptor in order to be charged. And again, the goal is to try to break down the amount of people who are actually driving. They want to discourage you by charging you essentially to utilize other alternative means of transportation, riding bicycles, public transportation, etc. I feel concerned about this because I'm like, it always gives people with funds advantage. Is my take on it. That it's an opportunity to feel yet again the haves and the have-nots in terms of even being able to commute. What are your thoughts, guys?
I totally agree with you to a degree about people who are, because they have money, it makes it better for them. But I also have an issue with this as it pertains to people who are not the people who live in New York. People go to New York to see plays and all this, you know what I'm saying? And not everybody's catching a train. People are driving. And so that's going to discourage people from doing those kind of things. But I do think that you have to go to drastic measures to take care of drastic things. New York is falling apart. You know what I'm saying? And how many times have you driven through the Holland Tunnel and you just know the wall's going to crack and water's going to come in there and your car, you're going to be in it. You know what I'm saying? So New York, you know what I'm saying? So I understand the concept of it. But I really think that, you have to do what you have to do.
Well, congestion pricing is now being considered in a variety of cities. So New York is among the first. But if you live in a major city, including the one that we all live in or near, DC is considering it as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sorry, I know I don't live in New York and the people who have to do this, but sometimes things happen to make you just sit back and say, well, maybe we're not that bad. The fires in Southern California, shut up and start talking about that $9 that you got to pay. These people just lost their homes, their lives. They have nothing. And just because some of the people, they're screaming that these celebrities live there, they're people too. So I'm saying, come on. As I said earlier, the small things.
Yeah.
I
agree with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, come on, simmer down now.
Simmer down.
Well, Bobby, since you took us to New York, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what else is happening in New York. This past Monday, a federal judge held Rudy Giuliani in contempt for failing to turn over information to two former Georgia election workers he defamed after the 2020 presidential election, as they continue to try to collect $150 million in damages. The sanctions add to a pile of significant consequences the former New York mayor, U.S. attorney, and Donald Trump attorney has faced in court in recent years. And it comes less than 2 weeks before a scheduled trial where Giuliani will fight to keep ownership of a $3.5 million Palm Beach, Florida, his condo in Florida. And the two women who I'm talking about is Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss. And basically, he is trying not to pay them. And this judge also said that he is willing to give Giuliani life in prison if he doesn't pay.
Wow.
Now, he's almost 100. So life in prison could be 2 years.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not hating on.
I just see the dye just flowing down the side of his face on that dye job. That's not good.
But how dare he not pay these people? You know what I'm saying? How dare he? How dare he? So, Sean, anything about Rudy that you may want to say something about?
It's not enough. I mean, literally everything should be taken from that man. And it's kind of sad considering that, in 2000, 2001, he was considered America's mayor, if you will,
Yeah.
after the 9/11 attacks. And look how far he has fallen. This is a man who clearly had some issues way back then. We all recall what it was like back in New York prior to his tenure as mayor, and how he claimed to clean up the city, if you will. But look how he did it. Okay. But now we see that those tendencies have played out in politics in a greater level. And so, that he needs to pay. I mean, he needs to give it up. And I don't care if they throw him under the jail, as my grandmother would say, but I'm done with him.
I am so done with him. Thank you. Thank you. That's all the hair dye I have. Okay.
I love it.
That's why
I love it. I love
All
it.
right. What else is going on in our top stories?
I think it's Sean's story next, actually.
Yes. And this is a bit of a somber, actually, it's a very, very sad story, and it's pretty personal. But a few years ago, some very dear friends of mine, my family, not my family in particular, but some friends of my family we've known for generations, they lost their newborn baby, what we call baby Jeremiah, under daycare under a white woman in South Carolina. The baby was shaken to death. And of course, because of South Carolina, how things are set up, they're still fighting to have this woman put in jail. Long story, we'll leave it there. Well, years later, of course, in Virginia, now we're seeing that, and I'm not going to say her name because she does not deserve for her name to be said, a young white girl, a nurse in Virginia, she has been arrested and accused of breaking the bones of babies while they were in the Naval Intensive Care Unit. So we're talking about the most vulnerable of the vulnerable. So here's what's really shocking about this case, though. Okay, the hospital where she was a nurse had suspicions in 2023, and they suspended her from her job with pay, brought her back, okay, and she did it again to 2 more babies. So this girl, and I'm gonna say girl because she's not a woman, apparently has some issues, but the mere fact that the hospital was aware that there are babies who had broken bones without cause, did some investigation, suspended the young woman, but then brought her back, and then 2 more babies had their bones broken. They're thinking that she shook the babies, and that's how she broke their bones. So I'm very, very upset and disheartened that this happened again, because it happened in South Carolina to some very dear friends of mine where their newborn had the same situation, but it was in daycare. Again, a white woman shook the baby, broke the bones, and the justice system in South Carolina isn't doing what it should do to hold this accountable. And here we are again. So people, let me tell you, these stories, they're happening around the country and we're not being told about them because we are people of color. So it took a parent to bring this attention out to the public. So let's be diligent about what's happening to our community, especially when it comes to our most vulnerable babies in the Naval Intensive Care Unit. It's 6 of them total. Sad, very, very heartbreaking.
It's tragic.
That is a very, 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 very sad story. When I heard about it, just the mere thought, I'm not a parent, I don't have to be a parent, but just the mere thought that somebody would feel compelled to break the bones of a helpless child for, I can't even, I don't even want to get inside of the sick mind or the head of this person, but that was just something that was just, it makes me sick to talk about it. But thank you. Yeah, it was very tragic. Thank you.
But thank goodness they caught her, and that, no more babies will be harmed by her.
Yeah. No more. No more babies will be harmed by her. So we're gonna take it back up to New York for a minute.
I was going to say, I'm going back up to New York.
You got to go back up to New York because Mr. Man has been acting a little foolish.
To put it mildly. Well, you all are aware that the president-elect did make request an appeal, put forth an appeal to delay or postpone his sentencing in the New York hush money case, that case where he was convicted of paying off hush money to prevent news getting out about his relationship with Stormy Daniels, and realizing that it could indeed impact and affect the election. So he was convicted of paying off hush money, and he was to be sentenced this week. And so he made an appeal to ask that the sentencing be delayed. The appeal was denied. And then, of course, knowing him, what did he do? He went to the Supreme Court. He tried to go to them and say, and of course, they denied it as well. So he wanted to leapfrog the normal appeals process, arguing that the burden, disruption, stigma, and distraction of the sentencing is too intrusive in his preparations for returning to the White House on January 20. But a divided Supreme Court even said they rejected it, and he was required to be at sentencing today. Now, he was not required to be there in person, so he did show up virtually. He did not receive any type of prison sentence or any fines, but it will be a historical moment in the fact that he will be the first president in the history of the United States to be sworn in as a convicted felon.
You know, so he did, they convicted him today.
He has been convicted of the crime of hush money.
That did happen.
Yes, he is a convicted felon.
Wow.
About to be sworn in as the president of the United States. Now, let's keep in mind that there are states where convicted felons are not even allowed to vote. They have lost their privilege to vote in some states. And he's about to be sworn in as the president of the United States of America.
You know what? I 2025 is all I have to say about what's happening.
Yeah, there's states he cannot vote in as a convicted felon, and he's now being sworn as the president.
Didn't Canada say he can't come to Canada
said a few things.
Canada said, first of all, Canada did, before this last statement that Canada made, he said that Canada said he cannot come to Canada because he's a convicted felon.
And he was suggesting that the United States should just purchase Canada to be the 51st state.
That was the other thing that Canada said, eat rock. Okay, right.
They're like,
right. Okay.
Why don't you just handle what's going on in your country?
Maurice said he hasn't fallen. People just found out who he really was and is.
I think he's talking about Rudy. Yeah.
Are we talking about Rudy Giuliani?
Rudy.
Yeah, we're talking about Rudy. Yeah, well, yeah, no, he hasn't fallen yet. Getting back to that, he hasn't fallen, and I want to see how far he can fall. He hasn't.
He's certainly fallen from grace.
I mean,
like his reputation of, like, as Sean was saying, like during 9/11, I mean, he was heralded as the city's mayor, like the ultimate mayor, the nation's mayor. It's a long fall from that one.
It's a long fall. Well, this week also made me realize that there's nothing in politics that I want to do.
Yeah.
Because after standing by and watching the husband of Republican U.S. Senator Deb Fischer and how he did not shake the hand of Vice President Kamala Harris during a swearing-in ceremony, prompting liberal claims of a snub and conservative changes of a misleading edit.
Yep.
I thought, first of all, she handled it the only way you can handle it. You know what I'm saying? I thought in that situation, and then to have to stand there and take a picture with him.
And look at how he's like standing with like I don't even want to stand next to her. Like, yeah, it was an insult of the highest order the way that he treated her.
And he's angry.
You said what, John?
He's the one that's actually angry and mad at the world.
The rudeness behind it.
Yeah.
In a normal setting, out in the street, somebody did that to me, it'd be on and popping. And I know that Vice President Harris wanted to take not the Bible, but take a book
And pop him.
and bop him in his head. In addition to say, you know, are you out your mind?
Well, you saw her do her hand, and then she kind of like pulled it back, like, "Oh, so you don't want to shake my hand? Oh, okay." So
she smiled. You know, she's like, okay.
she shrugged it off. Yeah, like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
All right. Well, again,
But we know that's not what she was thinking.
no, that is clearly not what she was thinking. And I just, again, it made me say being in politics is again, to have to go through that, especially in these times.
Yeah.
It would just be crazy. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, those were our top stories for today, you know,
Yes.
and it's just crazy. And, you know, now we're going to give you all some social and entertainment news that you all might not know about, ladies and gentlemen. So let's talk about what Bobby was going to talk about earlier, which was the big tech shakeup.
Yeah.
And Mark Zuckerberg getting rid of the fact checkers. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
How about that? So
How
about that? So if you haven't heard, ladies and gentlemen, Meta, run by Mark Zuckerberg, has decided to get rid of all the fact checking that Facebook has been doing and has been, you know, operating under for the last 4 years. Now that Mark Zuckerberg has gone to Mar-a-Lago and sat in a room with, you know, Elon Musk and Donald Trump kissing the ring.
Yeah.
So now there will be no fact checkers for Facebook. How y'all feel about that?
I think
you know, as a journalist, I am somewhat not surprised because I can remember some years ago in the newsroom when we had a journalist who wanted to kind of tell his story and the editors wanted him to edit it, if you will. And this was in the mid 90s, if you will. So to go from there to where we are now and seeing that one of the largest companies in the world, where most people are on this platform, they don't want to have fact checkers and they just want to just put anything out there.
Right.
I'm completely dumbfounded as to why anyone who believes in democracy, anyone who believes in the Constitution, the freedom of the press, will want to allow misinformation to get out there and spread more hatred, spread more dangerous rhetoric on a platform that they know reaches billions of people. I can't fathom it. You know, maybe the orange man has something on Zuckerberg. Who knows? I mean, maybe there's some kind of something. I don't know. I just find it very disheartening.
I don't want to live in the world. Well, I think since they're taking away fact checking, they should also take away. I mean, we can't even play certain music on the show before Facebook will shut us down, saying you playing such and such music. You know what I'm saying?
Copyright,
copyright and all that. So I mean, if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna go that route, let's go down a checklist and take away some other stuff that's prohibiting people from doing things. But all in all, there's money tied up into it somehow, some way that somebody's getting paid or kissing rings.
Yeah.
Bobby said kiss. So
kiss the ring, kiss the ring. You know how when you're a king, you're like, you know, kiss the ring.
So yeah, be mindful, ladies and gentlemen, that anything that you get now, you need to, if you get it from off social media, particularly Facebook, you better check it twice.
Check your sources. Absolutely.
Check your sources. Check your sources.
Can I ask you all a question?
Sure.
Do you think Google is next in YouTube?
Oh, it's coming. I think, I wouldn't be surprised.
I do.
I wouldn't. Well, does Google fact check?
Well, if you are a content provider, you do have to meet certain criteria. You know, you just can't put anything out there. So they do have that stipulation. But if they got rid of that, then granted, there are a lot of folks on YouTube who put out crazy stuff anyhow. But imagine what's going to look like when we know that YouTube is still growing in terms of viewers.
Right.
You know, there are some YouTube channels that have more viewers than CNN and MSNBC.
Right. Michelle says, why do we expect social media to be a source of truth, let alone facts?
Mhm.
Fake book is just that, fake. And Michelle has spoken. You know,
Come
I
on,
love when you come
Michelle.
on.
Come
I love
on.
when you come on, girl, because you always drop the mic and just keep on, just leave the room.
And
Correct.
she
Right.
speaks
I
true.
mean,
She speaks
yeah,
true.
but you know, I'm not going to tell you who. Well, she's not my new girlfriend, but she does chat a lot. And GBT.
I told people he's dating ChatGPT.
I'm dating ChatGPT right now. The relationship is growing,
It's
but
growing.
it's growing.
It's still young.
Michelle does have a point. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I
Absolutely.
think that it's definitely something. You know, this fact checking, bring it back. I think they should bring it back. All right.
All right. Well, also in this era of social and entertainment news, we were very sad to hear of the passing of the mother of actress Vanessa Williams. Helen Williams was there in London to actually see her daughter, who is starring in the West End production of The Devil Wears Prada. She flew over to London to support her daughter. And while there, she passed away due to complications from acute liver failure. It was a very sad experience. And Vanessa posted on December 28th, the world lost a powerhouse, dynamo and force of nature packed into a 5-foot frame. On our mom, Helen Williams, took her final bow in London 20 days after celebrating her 85th birthday, surrounded by family and friends. And so it is with sadness that we report the passing of Vanessa Williams' mother at the age of 85. But what an extraordinary, she's a former music teacher, always been a big fan and supporter of her extraordinarily talented daughter. And to be able to go to see her open on the West End in The Devil's Wears Prada. I don't know her personally, but I would imagine it was a wonderful source of pride to be able to make it over there at 85 to see her daughter in the starring role. So we express our condolences to Vanessa Williams and her family on the loss of Helen Williams at the age of 85.
Wow, may she rest in peace. That was a wild story. I mean, when I heard that, I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And Vanessa is not back, actually, for those of you who are going over to London to see Devil's Wears Prada, from which I hear is very, very good. She's not back until the 16th of January.
Correct. She is going to miss those shows. Yes.
She's going to miss those shows.
Yep.
Well, speaking of shows, we talked about it. We know that you all have seen the CNN version of the Never Too Much, Luther Vandross, the Never Too Much documentary. And it's fantastic. Well, the backlash is out, and there's anger and heartbreak in Patti LaBelle's camp after she was painted as a villain in a movie about one of her dearest friends, according to Patti. LaBelle and Luther Vandross have been friends, I mean, for decades, and Patti LaBelle has even, she was even close to his family and claimed to have taken care of Luther Vandross while, he was ill and before he passed away. But the problem that has come up is during the documentary, a clip was shown where Patti LaBelle was seated with Andy Cohen and proceeded to talk about Luther's personal life after being asked a question about whether or not he was gay. And we have had conversations about this. Let me just tell you, Patti LaBelle was interviewed for this documentary because she is one of his best friends, but she asked to review it, the final edit, before she would sign. And they were like, well, who do you think you are? But when she did that, the producers went back and said, wait a minute, you've been on Andy Cohen and we got you out in Luther. So not only did they remove her from the whole, production, they showed that clip and put it out there. So on one hand, people are saying the producers are dirty. On the other hand, I say loose lips sink ship. And I don't care, as I've told Bobby and Sean, if you are a friend of mine, I am taking that dirt under the dirt with me. I am not going to, for any reason possible, say anything about your personal life, particularly when you told me I don't want to say anything. That's my only take on that. So villain or not, you can't, Patty, there was no reason for you to say that, especially to Andy Cohen. I would have said no comment and kept it moving. What was we going to do? Take one of her Grammys? I don't know. But that's my take on that, guys.
Well, okay, Maurice just said, I hate to say, but you can't out the deceased. Well, it's their legacy. It's their memory, I guess. Yeah. And what you can do is you can say things that can impact those who remain, who love that person, and their understanding of that person. So there is still damage, potential damage to speak of someone after they've been deceased. I agree with you. I think that in the best of all worlds, she probably should have said no comment. I agree with you. I don't like or trust Andy Cohen, so I would have never responded to him in any case around it. But those producers were also dirty to interview her, to take her completely out, because the only, as you said, and I saw the actual documentary, the only time she's in it is during the actual
funeral.
They show her during the funeral, yes.
Right.
But in terms of speaking, is when she was being interviewed by Andy Cohen at a totally different show. So yeah.
And to Maurice's point, you can't out the dead. My comment to that is, I don't think she outed him because the world pretty much suspected. I don't think they knew, but they suspected she betrayed him. I see that as a betrayal, not as outing. And so that I look at that differently. And so whether he was or not, I just think that be quiet. Don't talk about people. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And let it go. All right. What's our last story for our social media?
Oh, I tell you, these people out here, we've had discussions about these dating apps out here and how risky it has become. So 11 teenage boys in Illinois have been charged with several felonies after allegedly using an online dating app to lure unsuspecting men to meetups and actually beating them. 10 17-year-old boys and one 16-year-old boy have been charged with multiple felonies, including aggravated battery, mob action, and criminal damage to property. This is in Mount Prospect, Illinois. One of the 17-year-old boys is facing an additional 2 felony counts of hate crimes, according to the department. And in this case that they were referring to, the gentleman went on the dating app, was expecting to meet someone at 7-Eleven at a public place. So it's not as if they, brought the person back to their home. These teenagers attacked this person in a public venue. So again, people, we've got to be cautious and careful about these dating apps out here now, and the fact that people are taking advantage of people, luring them into what they believe are innocent situations, one-on-one situations, and them getting there and multiple people being there to attack them. 2025.
Dating apps?
No.
And I don't say it with a place of judgment. It's just never been me. No.
I just had to go there with y'all. No.
0. Not one.
No. I don't. I think they scare me. They certainly are not, dating apps. I mean, honestly, I was on dating apps like years and years ago, and I won't name what they were, but they were years ago, and I have not been on a dating app in decades. Okay, decades. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us on our Let's Get Newsy tonight. Because we have a very special guest, we wanted to do something to help you all get a little bit more acquainted with who he is. He's not the total laid back, smooth operator that you all are seeing right now. So, so Bobby and I thought that we would play a little game of rapid fire with him and ask him some questions and see how he responds. So, Bobby,
you should know, we don't know. Alvin and I do not know any of the questions that we came up with. So we wanted to have some fun, but we also wanted to get to know Sean a little better.
I'm scared.
Yes. My first one is a real easy one for you. You ready?
Yes.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
I got questions. What qualities do you value in the people with whom you spend time?
Just the acknowledgement of that time, the present, just being with that person in the present.
He won't ignore y'all if y'all with him. Okay, go ahead, Bobby.
Do you trust your gut or do you rely on logical reasoning?
Both.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Ooh, wow. The best advice that I have been given. Wow. Oh yes. An old boss up in New York City when I was working up there. He said, "Sean, buy a house."
Generational wealth.
That's
Bam.
it. That's bam.
Yep.
All right.
Good news first or bad news first?
Bad news.
Why?
I like to end things on a positive note, no matter what the news is.
Okay. All right.
So if you go on a date and you don't like somebody, you're still going to be like, well, but you know what? You gave it a good try.
And vice versa. Vice versa. If I did something or said something, I can take criticism. I'll welcome it. I wish I got more of it sometimes.
Okay. I promise you, Bobby and I did not coordinate these questions. So
we did not. We didn't.
My last question is, how would you describe your ideal first date?
We didn't. I swear we didn't.
I swear we did not. I swear.
I knew he was going to go there. I knew it. I didn't have to go there. I knew he was.
It depends on the season. So I'm a person who loves the summer, the warm weather. So if it's in the summer and the person is capable and able, a long walk and just chatting. A long walk, just chatting. I mean 2-3 hours just walking and chatting.
Oh Lord.
If it's in the winter, like now, dinner at a quiet, well-lit place.
well lit, and I'm
well lit.
What?
Ain't
Why
gonna
well
be
lit?
ain't gonna be no under table footsie playing. He's well lit.
You want to see every pimple?
I want to see everything.
Everything. You want to see everything. You want to see as much as you can, ladies and gentlemen.
Without makeup.
Ladies and gentlemen.
That's Sean.
That's Sean. You got a chance to know a little bit more about our new special correspondent, Sean. Sean, thank you for indulging Bobby and I in our child's play of rapid fire. Ladies and gentlemen,
what did you say, Sean?
Because it wasn't so bad after. I was a little bit nervous about these, but that wasn't so bad.
Well, we have to keep it PG. We like going to the cliff, but we can't jump.
But not jumping.
So we can't jump. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back again, next Friday, the 17th, with another live show and a special guest for you all. And our words of the week for this week: if you don't know what to pursue in life right now, pursue yourself. Pursue becoming the healthiest, happiest, most healed, most present, most confident version of yourself. Then the right path will reveal itself. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that, Bobby. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us tonight. We appreciate you all being here for our first show of 2025, ladies and gentlemen, and we look forward to seeing you all next week on another new live episode. Sean, you coming back, right?
If you have me.
Okay, all right. Arms open wide. Or we'll see you on the next live episode of He Said.
He said.
He said.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Everybody. All right, stay warm, okay?
Stay warm, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Good night.